All right, the Monday evening, August 31st edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. Final day of August, final day of meteorological summer. You've probably heard me talk about meteorological seasons before. Tidy record keeping, one of the reasons why we have our seasons, we celebrate them, if you will, a little bit differently than the astronomical seasons, which depend on the pointing the Earth's orbit around the sun. Nice record keeping, and also it lines up a little bit more with the sensible weather, these meteorological seasons. And I'll do a full recap of summer coming up tomorrow evening. Wanted to do just a quick recap of the precipitation trends because for most people I think this will be the most interesting and perhaps surprising aspect of summer of 2020. It was a wet summer overall in parts of our area, especially in Trumbull County, parts of Mahoning County, even parts of Mercer County. Now, you may be looking at this and saying, what the heck, it was super dry, my yard died this summer. Well, early in the summer, it was sort of wet. Late in the summer, late last week, in other words, and over into the very early part of the day Saturday, it was pretty wet. But sandwiched in between, a really dry period, of course, for a good chunk of July and early in August. Even in that dry period in the middle of summer, our northern viewing area did a little bit better than the rest of the region. At the airport, we'll finish a handful of inches above average for the summer season, believe it or not. Overall, our driest area for the summer season, no doubt, was in Columbiana County, where it was well below average for the last 3 months. All right, meteorological seasons. Autumn getting underway tonight, September 1st, and our average high is 78. By the end of September, our average high, 66. That's a big drop, 12 degrees over a month. It's one of the bigger drops that we see in any calendar month, of course. This is a transitional season. October, or I should say September, kind of analogous to March back in the spring. You see a big jump in our average highs and average lows in March. You see a big decrease in the month of September. And by the end of meteorological autumn, our average high, a crisp 42 degrees. All right, Septembers have been very warm of late. We've had 5 consecutive warmer than average Septembers. It's actually been by a pretty big margin as well, each of these warm Septembers. This September probably somewhat different. I'm not seeing a lot of heat on the longer range modeling. We're probably done with 90-degree temperatures for the year. We haven't been able to say that over the last few Septembers. We've had 90s in September for several of the most recent years. This year's September outlook put out by the Climate Prediction Center seems reasonable to me, with increased odds of a cooler than average September across parts of the upper Midwest and pretty good odds of a hot September out west. For us, we're kind of in that neutral category, and while we may very well end up on the warmer side of things in September, it doesn't look like it'll be by those big margins that we've had in recent months. You know, you never want to bet against warmth these days. It wouldn't shock me if we ended up with a September around a degree or something warmer than average, but a September of 4 or 5 degrees warmer than average does not seem likely this time around. Highest odds of a wetter than average month to our south. Highest odds of a drier than average month to our west, and right now we don't see much of a signal either way for the month of September. And I do think that a pretty legitimate early season cool shot is coming our way next week. It's going to warm up this week, and the weekend will start out a little bit cooler, but a more substantial cool shot, you're going to see that on the modeling here when this animation stops. Middle of next week. Watch the cold building up in Canada and coming south. And while these are the temperatures up at 5,000 feet above our heads, it's going to be fairly representative of the overall trends across the country as we go into the middle of next week. So beyond Labor Day, probably the first legitimate cool shot of the early fall season coming down into the lower 48 states. Maybe there's even frost and freeze concerns for the upper Midwest by the middle of next week. Not for here, but upper Midwest is going to be a possibility. All right, back here in the present, we've had more clouds than sun today. We'll have a partly mostly cloudy sky tonight. Showers missing us to the south and to the east, and they'll continue to miss us. Dew points are starting to creep up. Of course, it was a very cool, comfy night last night, but today, while it wasn't a very warm day, we stopped at 77 at the airport. Dew points have been creeping up, so tonight will not be as cool. These elevated dew points and the cloud cover will prevent temperatures from dropping nearly as much as last night. And then as we go into the day tomorrow, I've removed any rain chances from our forecast. I think we're dry. I think we'll see some sun. And September 1st will be summery with temperatures in the lower 80s and an increase in those dew points. Maybe there's a couple of showers tomorrow night. Our in-house model here doesn't paint a whole lot, but I'm not going to be surprised if we have showers late tomorrow night, and a shower and a thunderstorm will be a possibility then for Wednesday. and for Thursday as this front kind of stalls out. The second front to head our way will be this one, and this is the more substantial front. It's heading our way Thursday night into Friday, and that's what's going to usher in a pretty nice air mass as the weekend gets underway. Labor Day weekend coming up, and dew points will drop Thursday into Friday, setting the stage for what looks like a beautiful day on Saturday. Sunday looking good as well. Our next chance for some showers may be at the very tail end of the long holiday weekend, Sunday night, and heading into Monday. We might see some wet weather in time for Labor Day, but I'll tell you, as I mentioned earlier, I think we're done with high heat for the season. We're not done with 80s for sure, but I would place bets at this point on being done with 90s. And so if you have a pool, sometimes I'll get questions about that at this time of the year. If you have a pool, you're probably going to be considering closing it up here in the next week to 10 days. While we will have some days in the 80s, I don't see a lot of classic pool and lake days coming our way during the first half of September. Kind of a change compared to recent years. Thank you for watching Weather for Weather Geeks tonight. We'll geek out to more weather stuff tomorrow night, same time, same place.